Disclaimer, this video is for entertainment purposes only, but who knows, you might just learn something. But it's mostly for entertainment purposes. Remember to like the video if you enjoy it. Positive support on my videos shows me what to make more of. Bill Burr is a very well-respected stand-up comedian and is loved by many for his most prominent attribute of always being ready to speak his mind, no matter the situation. Ethan Klein is a hysterical longtime comedic YouTuber who gets his respect for consistently making ironic, humorous content. The video I'm going to be analyzing is Ethan and Hila Klein's H3 podcast, episode number 84 with guest Bill Burr. An important piece of information before we start this clip is that you will notice Bill Burr is not afraid of confrontation, whereas Ethan is just not used to it. Given both of their job titles, a stand-up comedian has to be quick on his feet, and it's not a necessity for a YouTuber to be. This interview is so intriguing to me because it's the first time Ethan has been faced with a rather large confrontation on live video, and he does not handle it well. In the first clip, Bill is talking about modern-day bullying, and Ethan prepares to make a very controversial statement.
Part of the Flies generation
of course, sure.
back then, so it wasn't the way it is now, where you know, you can go on YouTube and the next thing you know, the bully's crying for some reason. Like, I never understood that.
Do you think? I feel like.
Notice how he rubs his collarbone, indicating that he's a tiny bit uncomfortable, but is embracing this feeling. Listen to Bill's reaction and then pay close attention to the microaggressions in Ethan's face. This is the first time we see Ethan portray that he feels Bill is superior to him.
I feel like bullying's almost important in a way, isn't it? Like, you gotta allow kids to give each other shit, in a sense. I mean, you can't coddle kids too much.
I don't think
he realizes that what he just said is very controversial, and he is praying Bill backs him up quickly, because he knows if Bill Burr says it, it would be okay. He is essentially punching above his weight with this joke, and he is looking for confirmation that it's acceptable for him to say that. But when Bill Burr makes a disapproving noise, Ethan panics. You can see the panic in how he distorts his eyebrows, puckers his lips, and opens his eyes real wide, as if he's actually approaching imminent danger.
Bullying's almost important in a way, isn't it? Like, you gotta allow kids to give each other shit, in a sense. I mean, you can't coddle kids too much.
I don't think as a parent you ever allow it.
Sure.
You know,
At this moment, Ethan feels as if he was completely left in the dust. Notice his fake smile and notice how fast his response to Bill is. You can actually see the regret in his eyes, as if he is thinking about the potential backlash that will soon come from his fan base. He wants to get away from the statement he just made as quickly as possible. Also notice the microaggressions in Hila's face. She knows what just happened and she is hoping Bill neutralizes the controversial comment Ethan just made. Fast forward a few minutes and the comedians are discussing their views on Cesar Millan and his TV show, The Dog Whisperer. Ethan again tries making a joke, but continues to look for Bill's approval. What Ethan is trying to do is play into Bill's frame, and is trying to talk about things from the same mindset as him. This is confirmed by Ethan's reaction after Bill disagrees.
And it's just like, no, this guy's been working with dogs forever.
Does he even know anything? I also wonder, does he just pretend like he knows? And then we believe him. You know what I mean?
I don't know. I mean, you're right. You're really.
I mean, he's doing this. I mean, how much? What does that do?
Well, I think the guy knows what he's doing.
Okay,
all right. I mean, he got a TV show. There's people. He worked with a lot of famous people's dogs. No famous people got eaten by dogs. So I would say, on some level, he must know. Yeah. You're a really cynical guy, man.
I thought you were down. I thought you were going to be down.
Ethan is shocked when Bill disagrees and even says, I thought you were going to be down, which confirms that Ethan was trying to play into Bill Burr's frame and was not speaking from an authentic point of view. Pay close attention to what Ethan does next because it is very interesting.
Some level, he must know. Yeah. You're a really cynical guy, man.
I thought you were down. I thought you were going to be down.
That is a lot for me to say that.
I thought
you're
you were
like
going to be down, but apparently
me.
I'm cynical even to Bill Burr. Shit. But you're not. You know what? You're not as cynical as people think. Like, I listen to your podcast a lot, and you're a very optimistic, fair guy. There's like a real fairness behind everything you say.
When Ethan opens up his body language, what he's trying to portray is, fine, I don't need to play into your frame. I'm confident without it. By complimenting him, Ethan makes it known that he's readjusting his view of Bill as not to disrespect him. Fast forward 2 minutes, Bill is talking about how he got into the business. Watch closely to what Bill says next, and remember that Ethan has brown hair.
You know, I always joke with people, if I had like brown hair, I wouldn't even be in this fucking business.
That's great.
I don't think I would be as funny.
Yeah.
And I think
Watch how Ethan touches his face. He knows that he has brown hair, and he realizes that he is about to potentially be attacked.
You know, I always joke with people, if I had like brown hair, I wouldn't even be in this fucking business.
That's great.
I don't think I would be as funny.
Yeah.
And I think I would be, I'd probably be, you know, just doing be a cog in a wheel somewhere.
What Bill just did was so small that you may have missed it. Notice what Bill does with his hand. He essentially points toward Ethan while looking down to the right, which means that he's having an internal dialogue with himself. In that moment, he was thinking to himself, I would end up like you, Ethan. But Bill does not want to blatantly insult him, so he decides not to go there. Not yet.
You know, I always joke with people, if I had like brown hair, I wouldn't even be in this fucking business.
That's great.
I don't think I would be as funny.
Yeah.
And I think I would be, I'd probably be, you know, just doing be a cog in a wheel somewhere.
Bill begins telling the story about how his father treated him as a child. When Ethan sees a chance to actually engage in the conversation, his vocal tonality suggests that he's excited to finally have a legitimate question to ask Bill, but it doesn't go well. Pay attention to the extremely quick laugh Ethan makes right after Bill says, I don't know, dude.
But when he came home, he was cracking the whip. How's your bed, mate? You do your studies? Well, why not? You know, it was that shit. And he also had a zillion kids, so I mean, yeah.
Really? How many siblings do you have?
I don't know, dude. The internet's too fucking weird to give out all that information.
Oh, you don't even want to say how many because you're afraid.
You can tell by how quick Ethan laughs and also his next response that he feels personally insulted. Ethan saw his chance to engage in the conversation and got shut down. Again. This is when Bill immediately shows that he is not kidding around in the slightest. Over the course of the next 10 seconds, the entire mood in the room changes. What went from a spacious conversation has turned into a complex maze that Ethan now has to get himself out of.
And he also had a zillion kids, so I mean, yeah.
Really? How many siblings do you have?
I don't know, dude. The internet's too fucking weird to give out all that information.
Oh, you don't even want to say how many because you're afraid that it will
by all
compromise
means,
your
keep talking
privacy.
about it. Is there any way you can cut this out? I'm honest, dude. Like,
seriously?
Yeah, no, dude. There's fucking lunatics out there.
Okay.
Whoa.
Off the air, I'll tell you.
All right.
Jeez. I love how surprised he is. Jeez.
Well, you can mention the amount.
Absolutely crazy people out
there. Okay, yeah. No, I'm not.
Here we finally see Ethan standing up for himself. It's quite hard to hear, but Ethan says, okay, no, I'm not crazy. Here we see Ethan standing up for himself for the first time. What I find respectable is that he doesn't put it behind the facade of a joke, much like Bill Burr didn't do. Almost a whole 2 minutes later, you can tell Ethan is still trying to recover from Bill's figurative uppercut. This whole confrontation doesn't affect Bill at all, and you can tell this because he doesn't change his body language or use any pacifying techniques to calm himself. He has been calm the entire time. Bill is talking about social media, and that if he wasn't a comedian, he wouldn't even be on it.
Do it all over again because of what I do, I need social media. But if I wasn't, a performer, if I was a manager or anything like that, I would have a website, but I would not be on social media at all.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Whew. All right.
Ethan lets out a groan and a large breath of air. He portrays an emotion similar to someone who just got yelled at by a superior, a boss, or a parent. This is confirmed right after he lets out the groan and says, all right, while looking down to the left. By looking down to the left, he's accessing his feelings and emotions. When he says, all right, he is essentially saying, well, that just happened. My superior just yelled at me. Where do I go from here? Ethan is a man who hates confrontation and feels personally insulted by how Bill portrayed his boundaries, even though that was not Bill's intention. Bill Burr can feel Ethan's distress and feels that helping him completely could damage Ethan's ego and cause more harm than intended.
Whew. All right. I don't know why that got so flat on my part. Tell me about all things comedy. I don't know. You say I'm nervous. I'm sweating here.
I'm just going to let you sit.
I know you are. You don't have to save me.
You got to push through to the other side.
No, I know, but you don't have to save me.
Look at you. You're all sweating.
At this point, Ethan completely surrenders to Bill, putting all his cards out on the table. When he says, I'm nervous, he is essentially saying, I didn't ask about your siblings on purpose, knowing you wouldn't like it. I'm sorry, and I'm trying my absolute best here. At this point, it becomes obvious that Ethan is putty in Bill's hands, and he is completely vulnerable. Even Ethan knows it. That's why he says, you don't have to save me. What Bill did here was extremely kind. He acknowledged that he wasn't going to help Ethan and then subliminally helped him in an attempt to bring him back to neutrality without making him look like a fool. This is confirmed when Bill says, I'm just gonna let you sit, but then soon after says, you're doing great, and tries to subliminally help him by cheering him up. He is trying to tell Ethan, listen, I know you didn't mean to do it. Let's move on. It's at this moment that we see all of this tension was caused by Ethan's personal distress.
Tell me about all things comedy. I don't know. You say I'm nervous. I'm sweating here.
I'm just going to let you sit.
Yeah, I know you are. You don't have to save me.
You got to push through to the other side.
No, I know, but you don't have to save me.
Look at you. You're all sweaty. You're touching. Look. Dude, if you were a reliever now, if you were a reliever on the other team, I'd have to come out and check you for Vaseline or something.
Bill Burr came to the logical conclusion that Ethan Klein was not fit to get himself out of a situation such as that, and was not comfortable with confrontation. Bill did a fantastic job of recognizing when Ethan didn't know how to move on from the tension and had enough empathy and respect to take matters into his own hands, while protecting Ethan's image at the same time without making him look completely hopeless. Thank you guys so much for the support on the last video. It makes me genuinely happy to find other people who are as interested in this as I am. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button and share it. I love making these videos, and the more support they get, the more I will make. What was your take on this fascinating situation? Leave a comment and let's start a discussion. My name's Glidget Ronan, and thank you so much for watching.